everyone, welcome back or welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Alyssa Cotten and I provide emotional mental support for coaches, counselors, content creators, and entrepreneurs. And do you feel ready to heal your trauma but you're not really sure where to get started? Stay tuned till the very end to learn my 5 tips on how to start your trauma healing journey. So let's get started. So you've made the decision that you're ready to start healing your trauma. Congratulations, I'm so proud of you. It takes so much strength to get to this point to realize that you are ready to heal your trauma. So you might be thinking, like, where do I even get started? What's the right protocol? How do I even go forward? How do I even know if I'm actually healing my trauma? And I have 5 tips that are going to help you jumpstart your healing journey. So let's dive into step number 1. Step number 1 is creating a sense of safety. And what I mean by that is physical safety, emotional safety, spiritual safety. Because trauma work is very vulnerable. You have to peel all the layers. And also with trauma work, you don't know what you don't know. So you might be doing some trauma work and things might pop up that you had no idea was even there. And if you don't have a sense of safety in your everyday life, that's really going to trigger and activate so many other things that you might not be prepared for. So safety starts with our baseline. So safety is really connected with Maslow Hierarchy of Needs. And so with us feeling safe, we need to know that we can have our basic human needs met. So food, shelter, clothing. So how that works out is we need to have safety as in, if I'm gonna come home from work, I need to make sure that I have enough food in the pantry, that I'm not gonna be questioning where I'm gonna get food. I have clothes in the closet that's going to help me either stay warm in winter or cool down in summer, and that I have a roof over my head that I know when I wake up I'm not going to be evicted. So that's one layer of safety, but there's so many other deep layers such as work safety. We really underestimate the importance of work safety. So work safety is going to work and not being in a toxic work environment, a hostile work environment, not being questioning, am I going to get fired today? Trauma work is so challenging and it's so hard that if you go to a workplace that's not supportive of you maybe needing a mental health day or needing to extend some deadlines, or you are constantly like anxious when you're at work, that's really going to hinder your trauma work success. Not that it can't be done, but if you can't find safety at work and you're at work for 40 plus hours a week, it's going to be really hard to do that trauma work in your after work time, before work time, on the weekends, because each week you're trying to bounce back from just the toxic energy that you're having to deal with at work every week. And so that's what I mean by safety. And a really easy way to acknowledge that you are safe is just look around your room and ask yourself, what makes me feel safe? So if I were to look around my house, I would say I've got food in my pantry. That makes me feel safe because I know if I'm hungry, I've got food. I've got clothes in my closet. If it's really cold out, I can grab a jacket, or if it's really hot, I can grab a tank top. I know that I have a mortgage. I know I have enough money in my bank account to pay my mortgage, so I'm not going to be kicked out or anything. And those are things that I can immediately think of that's going to provide me immediate safety and grounding in the moment, the present, here and now. A really big buzzword right now in the trauma work community is mindset. And I'm here to tell you, and people might get upset with me, but mindset is not enough with trauma work, because mindset totally invalidates and doesn't acknowledge or recognize the trauma that you went to, which is influencing maybe your negative or your toxic mindset to begin with. So when you hear someone say, just do some mindset work or focus on this or focus on that, that really invalidates like all the trauma you went to. And what we know about trauma, it's something that happened to you where you were out of control, whether that was abuse, assault, witnessing violence, you had no control. And there's a reason that you might be having negative thoughts in present day, you might be having harmful thoughts, and there's no amount of mindset work you can do that's going to heal your trauma. You can't just say, all right, my trauma's gone. All right, is my mindset better? Yeah, can I have my gold star now? It doesn't work like that. Mindset can really help jumpstart you to get into a place to heal your trauma, and I'm all about mindset work. I think it's beautiful, but it's not enough when it's talking about trauma. When we have injured wounds, and we have mental injured wounds and psychological injured wounds and attachment wounds, we can't heal that with mindset. But an easy mindset affirmation that you can say to start your healing journey is when you start to do your trauma work, you're going to be very triggered and very activated. And so reminding yourself that you are being triggered from your memories of your trauma, but you're not in trauma right now, which is why we go back to number one. Number one is always creating a sense of safety in your present moment. So when you do that trauma work and you're feeling activated, you can use that mindset to bring you back to the present to say, I'm safe. I know I'm safe because I can lock my doors. I can get food. I can do this. I can do that. And I know I'm safe. And so that's why our mindset work can be very beneficial to help pull you out of your trauma. But the mindset work cannot heal your trauma. And so anyone that's telling you that they can cure your trauma through mindset work is not truly a trauma provider. And it's important that you find someone that is trauma informed, that is trained to help you heal your trauma. So going back to Maslow Hierarchy of Needs, it's a pyramid. At the top of the pyramid is self-actualization, where we get to be aligned with our truest self, our higher self. And with that, we have to start with a solid foundation, or we can never move to the next layer. So the bottom of the pyramid is food, shelter, clothing. Knowing that I can find food, shelter, clothing at any time of the day, that I am safe in all those areas. Once we start to know and our body can truly trust that we are going to have that. For example, if you grew up in a home where you moved a lot, or there wasn't a lot of food, or you didn't really have the proper clothing for the weather, your brain might not believe you when you say, we have clothes, we have food, we have shelter, we have those resources. Your brain is still seeing through that trauma lens. And so you have to remind yourself frequently, we are safe, we have our human basic needs met, and we are going to be okay. We're going to get through that. So reminding yourself, looking around as you're doing this trauma work, what in my physical environment is keeping me safe today? So that can help, again, with that mindset of bringing you out of that trauma. So the fourth tip is needing another person. Unfortunately, with trauma work, this is not something that I would recommend you do on your own, because what happens with trauma, our brain doesn't know the difference between a memory or if it's happening in present day. So if you start to do this trauma work and you start to dig up your traumas and your wounds and the hurts and the abuse and the neglect and the assaults, your brain and body are going to act as if it's happening in present day. So what happens with trauma work, you need one foot in the past and one foot in the present. But if you do the trauma work by yourself, you tend to get stuck in the past, which then happens to be trauma response. And all day long, we're going through our trauma responses. And there's 5 different types of trauma responses. There's fight, flight, freeze, submit, and attach. And if you want to learn more about trauma responses, check out this video right here, where I dive in super deep on the 5 different types of trauma responses. And when we are stuck in our past trauma memories, we live every day in our trauma. And so we need another person to help us stay in the present moment, to guide us through our trauma so we don't get stuck on repeating. And trauma work is not remembering the trauma. You remembering your trauma and the hurt that has happened to you isn't going to heal your trauma. And that's a really common misconception. So what happens is people don't want to talk about their trauma. You don't need to talk about your trauma in order to heal it. There's so many other modalities and treatments out there that you can do that doesn't require you to talk about it, because remembering your trauma does not heal your trauma. And if you'd love to work with someone to help you on your trauma journey, I would love and be honored to work with you. And you can definitely book a call to see if my online program, Inner Compass Accelerator, where you get to work with me directly and have a self-paced course outline to help you create a solid foundation to heal your trauma on this journey. So you can definitely check out the link below and book a call to connect with me. And the fifth step is reminding yourself that trauma is not a straight line. Trauma is loops and highs and lows, and sometimes you take steps back and sometimes you take quantum leaps forward. But reminding yourself, as long as you're moving forward in a healthy pace, in a healthy way, you are going to go on this journey and you are going to heal your trauma. What happens with trauma work is we as people have experienced trauma. We want to rip the Band-Aid off and be like, okay, my trauma's done, it's healed, gold star, okay. And then we have to remind ourselves it doesn't work like that. Trauma work is very slow because we need to be so mindful that you are not constantly stuck in your trauma response. And if we go super fast, what happens is you can get stuck in your trauma response, where that can look like anxiety or depression or inability to do the things that you have to do in order to live your life. And so reminding yourself, kind of like the turtle and the rabbit in the story that we know as kids, is slow and steady. So you want to just constantly be moving forward in a forward direction. Even if the forward direction looks like a loop, you are still moving forward than you were when you got started. So those are my 5 tips. Let's recap. The first one is safety. Finding safety in your home, finding safety in your work, and finding safety in all the other areas that you have. Number 2, mindset work is not enough, because mindset does not validate the trauma that you've experienced. Mindset work helps you pull out of the trauma, but it doesn't heal the trauma that's there. So reminding yourself, mindset work, positive affirmations, positive thinking, it's all beneficial, but it's not actually going to heal your trauma. Number 3 is acknowledging your Maslow Hierarchy of Needs, working up the pyramid by creating a solid foundation of that safety and that predictability of your food, shelter, and clothing. Number 4 is you can't do this alone. Do not do this alone. That can re-traumatize you. That can cause more harm than beneficial. And lastly, healing is not a straight line, and reminding yourself to go slow and steady, and that every single day you are getting one step closer to that self-actualization of a healthy, happy, healed self. And my name is Alyssa Cotten. I would love to be on this journey with you as you are healing your trauma. Healed people can heal other people. I remember when I started my healing journey of my own trauma from my own past, I was so stuck in anxiety and depression, these highs of lows of not wanting to get out of bed to burning out. And when I was able to do my trauma work, I saw my true passion of wanting to heal other people, because I believe healed people can continuously heal others. And if you are an entrepreneur, a content creator, a coach, or even a counselor, and you have trauma in your past, I would love to be on your journey to help you. If you want to learn a little bit more, I'd love for you to sign up for my free masterclass, Find Your Inner Compass, how to have your external goals align with your internal self. If you like this video, hit that like button and don't forget to subscribe. I release videos out every single Monday. Have a great day.